Good morning, everyone. Whether you're joining us here virtually or are physically present in the sanctuary, I welcome you into this day with Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Today's opening words are from Pat Uribe Lichty. We come from many places, along different paths, bringing different truths. We come with different histories and different realities, and yet we come together as one people, with faith that we can use our differences to heal ourselves and each other, to bring wholeness to a fractured world. We come seeking to find community, to find acceptance of who we are. In this place, may we find others who are much like us, and others who are much different. May we be reminded that we are a people taught by different stories with many voices, but always one people working for a world where love creates justice, and justice gives birth to peace. My name is Dean Carr, and I'm a member of the board here at QUUF. As we gather, I acknowledge that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the S'Klallam and Chemakum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our Indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. If you're visiting here today, I offer a special welcome and invite you to join us for refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall after the service. The fellowship hall is outside in the foyer and off to my right. We have a newcomers table near the patio doors, and our greeters are there to welcome you and answer any questions that you might have. Welcome to you all this morning. We're glad you're here. Announcements. Looking for some joy and community on Christmas Day? Join Reverend Linda and others for a potluck Christmas Day meal. There will be singing and laughing, great food, and even better company. Sign up today out in the lobby and get your best recipes out. Now, let us settle our minds and calm our hearts.
Nothing like some O'Carolan to start the day. Thank you, Laurie. Our opening words are by Annie Furster. Come we now out of the darkness of our unknowing and the dusk of our dreaming. Come we now from far places. Come we now into the twilight of our awakening and the reflection of our gathering. Come we now all together. We bring unilluminated our dark caves of doubting. We seek, unbedazzled, the clear light of understanding. May the sparks of our joining kindle our resolve, brighten our spirits, reflect our love, and unshadow our days. Come we now, enter the dawning. Will you join me in our words for lighting our chalice? We light this chalice here in the darkness of winter as we wait. This temporary space is one filled with prayers to be answered, love to be given and received, miracles to be witnessed. May this light guide us until the light of the sun returns again. Right. I almost forgot the Advent candle again. Yay me, I remembered. As we settle into the colder days and longer nights and look forward to the beginning of the return of light this month, yay, we've come to the time in our fellowship when we light a new candle each Sunday until Christmas Eve. The flame of each new candle reminds us that something is happening now and something is still to come. The light of these candles grows brighter and brighter each Sunday, guiding us toward deeper faith, increased hope, shared joy, and more love. In prior weeks, we lit the candles of faith, hope, and love. This morning, we will light our fourth candle, the candle of joy. And I invite Willow to come up and light the candle of joy.
For laughter and friendship, beauty and creativity, for star-filled nights and hot chocolate by the fire, for dance parties and cuddling up with a good book, for all the things we do that are exactly what we most want to do in that particular moment. We light this candle for joy.
So we're going to do this song call and response first, and once we've gone all the way through, then we'll go back and sing it all together. I think the words are going to be up there in a minute, but you can just repeat after me. Here we go. Into the dark womb of night, into the dark womb of night, we rest, we breathe, we watch. We rest, we breathe, we watch. The mystery draws us inward. The mystery draws us inward as we wait for the light to return. As we wait for the light to return into the winter of earth. Into the winter of earth. The seeds have fallen away. The seeds have fallen away. The roots in the ground reclaim their life. The roots in the ground reclaim their life, retreating to rest in the soil. Retreating to rest in the soil. Try it with me now. Into the dark womb of night, we rest, we breathe, we watch. The mystery draws us inward as we wait for the light to return. Into the winter of earth, the leaves have fallen away. The roots in the ground reclaim their life, retreating to rest in the soil. Into the dark womb of night, we rest, we breathe, we watch. The mystery draws us inward as we wait for the light to return. As we wait for the light to return. As we wait for the light to return.
It's the time for all ages. So I invite those who are young of body or spirit to come forward. That's any of you. Whoa! Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So just as a reminder, we need to be very careful of the instrument that's up here, which is why I was looking a little panicked there, friends. Because, yeah. So, please no. Thank you. Thank you for being careful with that. Yeah. So, do you all know what we've been singing about and talking about so far today? Do you know what today is? No, yeah.
Sunday.
It's Sunday. That is absolutely true. Well done. It's also the solstice, and that means, yeah, did you know it was the solstice too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you what?
My mom.
Oh, your mom told you. Awesome. So it's going to be that kind of morning, isn't it? So I have a book for you. And it's about the solstice. This is the longest night of the year. At least we talk about it that way. I'll tell the adults a little more about that as we get into the service. So this is about the solstice. It's longer than I thought, and it's a different book than I thought I was going to have, but it was too late to change that once I got... Do you have those days, friends? You might even have those years, but one hopes not. All right, in late autumn, in the northern part of the world, squirrels hide nuts, foxes grow thick fur coats, and flocks of birds fly off to warmer places. The sun rises later each morning and sets earlier each evening. Each day it appears lower in the southern sky, and the sun gets lower and lower. The north gets less and less light. The air grows colder, right? Have you all been experiencing that? Chickadees fluff their feathers to keep warm. Woodchucks hibernate in their burrows. White-tailed deer nuzzle through the snow to find the last blades of grass. On short winter days, children bundle in warm clothes and walk through a frosty white world, dragging long shadows behind them. On long winter nights, families eat dinner while it's dark outside. Children wonder when the days will get longer again so they can play outside after dinner as they did in the summer. In the north, on or around December 21st, the sun reaches its lowest point on the horizon, making that the shortest day of the year. Like all days, December 21st, it has 24 hours, but it's called the shortest day because it has fewer days of daylight, hours of daylight. The shortest day, called the winter solstice, is the beginning of winter, and in some places, winter means cold-nosed, nipping weather. The earth tilts as it moves around the sun. When the northern part of the earth is away from the sun, the north gets less heat than the southern part. Long ago, people didn't understand how the earth moves around the sun. They didn't understand each day had less sunshine than the day before. Some believed that evil spirits made the sun go away. People feared that the sun wouldn't shine on them anymore, making their world cold and dreary dark. They needed the sun's warmth and light, so did their plants, for which they needed for food. They held ceremonies that lasted for weeks to persuade the gods to bring the sun back. Over the years, people noticed that after short days, the days got gradually longer. Joyous people bathed in the sun's warmth and light. They celebrated their harvests. And then about 5,000 years ago, people who studied the sky noticed that day after day the sun set in different places on the western horizon. They discovered that when the sun sets farthest south, that was the shortest day. These early astronomers planned to mark the shortest day. Then each year, people would know when the days would start getting longer again. On the days when the sun reached its southernmost point on the horizon, the astronomers carried out their plan. Workers stacked the stones to frame the setting sun. They made a special opening, like a keyhole or the eye of a needle. When the sun's rays beamed through that opening, people knew the shortest day was over. Gradually, the days got longer for the next 6 months, and when the sun appeared farthest to the north, its rays shone through another keyhole. People knew it was the longest day of the year, the first day of summer. I'm going to skip this page and skip this page. And then come into Sweden, where a festival of light celebrates the return of longer days. On St. Lucia's Day, girls wear crowns of evergreens and candles to rekindle the sun's fire as they deliver warm buns to family and friends. Boys will go door to door singing to the neighbors for coins. I'm going to keep turning. Today, people still celebrate at the beginning of winter by decorating their houses, lighting the darkness, gathering together and exchanging gifts. They no longer worry that the sun will disappear forever. People know that the days get colder when their part of the earth is away from the sun. They know that their days get shorter when the sun appears low in the sky. People celebrate the shortest day because longer days follow. Flocks of birds will return, seedling oaks will sprout, and children will play outside after dinner. For more than 5,000 years, people have welcomed the winter solstice because it's a new beginning. And that's where we are in the year right now. Ready for the solstice, ready for the days to start getting longer. And that's our story for today. So I would ask if the adults will make an arch along the aisle.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround
everywhere, everywhere you may go.
We pause for a time of generosity and to receive an offering, which today goes to the Ministerial Discretionary Fund, which provides financial support to community members and QUUF members in need. The ushers will come among you to receive the offering, and additional ways of giving will be projected. Please join me in our offering words. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it.
This time is set aside for us to share our joys and sorrows. We recognize that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And so we are placing our first stone today. I realize that I tend to look for the disasters to acknowledge, so here, let's have some good news, shall we? We place a stone for the Montana Supreme Court, who upheld on a 6-1 vote a lower court ruling that the state's children have a fundamental constitutional right to a clean and healthy environment. And that includes carefully analyzing energy policies to keep them from damaging the climate. Some good news, friends. Within the congregation, we light a candle of love for the family and friends of Katy Cox, who died Tuesday morning. May her memory be a blessing. And we place a stone of joy for our Director of Family Ministry, Bo, who just finalized the adoption on Wednesday, the 18th, with their child, Jasper. Great congratulations to Bo and Jasper. Do offer your congratulations. It's been a bit of a, it's always a journey, and it's been a joyful one these last few weeks as we've come up to that. We place a final stone, holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows that I've shared, but also thinking of the joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but of no less importance. Thank you. Let's take a time for some quiet and meditation, some reflection together, and settle into your seat and close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. These words to begin our time of reflection by Ashley Goff. From the rising of the midwinter moon, may darkness and light dance together, O shining one. In this season, make us short on grumpy thoughts, long on sharing words of gentleness. Make us short on being rushed, long on attentiveness. Make us short on seeing what is right before us, long on peering into the horizon. Make us short on out-of-control to-do lists, and long on savoring kindness. Make us short on overlooking the dark sky, long on gazing at the twinkling stars. Make us short on tradition as a habit, long on re-owning and recreating. Make us short on ignoring the hungry, long on making a delicious meal. Make us short on rushing, long on pondering and wondering. Make us short on walking past those sleeping in the cold, long on sharing blankets and hot tea. Make us short on longing for what's next, and long on savoring the darkness. Let us pause in stillness together. So may it be. Amen.
For the first reading is In Celebration of the Winter Solstice by Stephanie Noble. Do not be afraid of the darkness. Dark is the rich, fertile earth that cradles the seed, nourishes growth. Dark is the soft night that cradles us to rest. Only in darkness can stars shine across the vastness of space. Only in darkness is the moon's dance so clear. There is a mystery woven in the dark, quiet nights. There is magic in the darkness. Do not be afraid. We are born of this magic. It fills our dreams that root, unravel, and reweave themselves in the shelter of the deep, dark night. The dawn has its own hue, its own resonance, its own breath. It fills our soul, not with despair, but with promise. Dark is the gestation of our deep and knowing self. Dark is the cave where we rest and we renew our soul. We are born in darkness, and each night we return to the deep, moist womb of our beginnings. Do not be afraid of the darkness, for in the depth of that very darkness comes the first glimpse of our own light, the pure inner light of love and knowing. As it glows and grows, the darkness recedes. As we shed our light, we shed our fear and revel in the wonder of all that is revealed. So do not rush the coming of the sun. Do not crave the lengthening of the day. Create a darkness. Here and now, a time of richness and a time of joy.
We need to figure out how to do this a little better. Yeah, there we go. Our second reading is a snowy night by, as I like to say, St. Mary of Oliver, patron saint of Unitarian Universalists, although I think she's being unseated at the moment. Snowy night. Last night, an owl in the dark blue tossed an indeterminate number of carefully shaped sounds into the world, in which, a quarter mile away, I happened to be standing. I couldn't tell which one it was, the barred or the great horned ships of the air. It was that distance. But anyway, aren't there moments that are better for knowing something and sweeter? But anyway, aren't there moments that are better than knowing something and sweeter? Snow was falling so much like stars filling the dark trees that one could easily imagine its reason for being was nothing more than prettiness. I suppose if this were someone else's story, they would have insisted on knowing whatever was knowable, would have hunted over the fields to name it. The owl, I mean. But it's mine, this poem of the night, and I just stood there and listened, holding out my hands to the soft glitter falling through the air. I love this world, but not for its answers. And I wish good luck to the owl, whatever its name. And I wish great welcome to the snow, whatever its severe and comfortless and beautiful meaning. There ends our readings for today.
So I'm going to teach you the chorus on this one. The words are going to be up here, and then I'll sing the verses, and we'll keep coming back to the chorus. So I'll sing it once through, and then I'll teach it. Blessed be the winter chill and the time of grieving. Bless the turning toward the light and the time of conceiving. So first line goes, blessed be the winter chill. Try it again. Blessed be the winter chill and the time of grieving, and the time of grieving. Bless the turning toward the light. Bless the turning toward the light, and the time of conceiving. Let's try it all the way through. Blessed be the winter chill and the time of grieving. Bless the turning toward the light and the time of conceiving. In the nest
midst of solitude, dreams burn bright, and the darkness that is home as well feeds us through the night. Blessed be the winter chill and the time of grieving. Bless the turning toward the light and the time of conceiving. Are we midwives attending birth, or hospice for the dying? In our brief time on the earth, a net of love we're tying. Blessed be the winter chill and the time of grieving. Bless the turning toward the light and the time of conceiving. Oh, the path we're on, we cannot know what it's bringing. As we walk alone or hand in hand, we bless it with our singing. Blessed be the winter chill and the time of grieving. Bless the turning toward the light and the time of conceiving. Bless the turning toward the light and the time of receiving.
Solstice, in addition to marking a change in the seasons, is a time to pause. You see, instead of celebrating the return of the light, solstice actually means sun standing still. It's not an immediate turn of the days starting to lengthen. We have a few nights of the longest night, and then the days will start to lengthen. The solstice, though, for me, is a time for pausing and always for reflecting in this moment, transitions. Light and dark are the themes of solstice. We've been singing about the light and about the dark this morning. Both of them carry meanings and a valence, if you will. Light being most often thought of as our good thing, and darkness characterizing, if not evil, then something that's pretty bad. Darkness in the Harry Potter universe, the Dark Lord, right, is the one to bring havoc to the wizarding world. And we send light and love to those that we're thinking of, hoping for their healing. And of course, both light and darkness can hold a good meaning and a negative meaning. So we know that about the time. Let me do a brief digression. I know it's unusual for me. Back in my seminary days, I studied with a scholar named Martin Marty. Mr. Marty was like an elfin presence when he lectured, rather jolly and sweet in a way that's very hard to define. Deeply respected for his encyclopedic knowledge and wisdom, his lectures were chock-a-block full of information and delivered at the speed of a Gatling gun, as one of my colleagues said. And he was wicked smart. A colleague had noted that the thing that about him was that he read everything and then remembered everything he'd read. Any of us out there be able to identify with that one? He was respectability and wisdom and a kind of joyfulness that's hard to explain. But back in his seminary days, he was intending to be a Lutheran priest when he started out in his college. He and a few other students were frustrated. This conservative Lutheran seminary closed the library on Sundays when all of them wanted to be doing work, right? It was a very conservative place, and they were very frustrated. So in response, he and a few other students undertook a protest in which they created a theologian that they called Franz Bibfeld. They created an entire bibliography for Franz, making cards and inserting them into the card catalog, and also the ones that allowed you to check a book out, right? This is back in the Dark Ages. You remember when we did that? And then they ensured that all of the books were always checked out. They then began quoting him in papers. And you know, when I met Mr. Marty, he was like 70, and imagining him doing this was impossible because he was such a solid person. It was like, he did what? So anyhow, the professors remained frustrated as they kept trying to check the sources, but were utterly stymied. Eventually, they were found out, and Mr. Marty was told that he could not be a priest. So he pursued an academic degree and went on to be one of the most prolific scholars of religion in the late 20th century, teaching at the University of Chicago Divinity School, which eventually began to host a Bibfeld lecture. The University of Chicago, you could have some fun. It's hard to imagine, but it's true. One of those lectures was dedicated to Bibfeld every year, and one of them explored Bibfeld's trust in the both and, in contrast to Kierkegaard's famous suggestion that there was a fundamental either or. A small handwritten sign in my seminary on a bulletin board as you went down the steps read, I trust in the both and if Bibfeld said it, I believe it. So let me say, I believe in the both and that with most things that matter, it's a process of welcoming and inviting in what the world brings you. This time of year is a bit of an anniversary for me. It's not a bit of an anniversary, it's an anniversary for me. For solstice and Christmas are backends on a transformation that granted me new life. It was in late November, I think, that I told my husband one night that I feared that if I didn't stop drinking alcohol, I would die. I knew my drinking was out of control, and it had been for many years. Even with that fear of death, I could not stop. One night, I went to a small celebration. It was the night before the solstice, and the woman who sat down next to me, unknown to me until that moment, mentioned in our conversation that she was part of Alcoholics Anonymous. I never tell anyone this, she commented, seemingly baffled by it, but somehow it makes sense here. A part of me wanted to tell her my secret, the hangovers and the blackouts, the fear and the dread, and the words would not form. Less than a week later, I bottomed out spectacularly. The details differ from other drunks, but my story likely rhymes. I finally had the will and the fuel to stop drinking, and on December 26th of this year, I will have been sober for 17 years. I know there are those out there, those of you out there who have similar stories. I attended one AA meeting on New Year's Day that year. It was the one that this woman had described to me as her home meeting in our brief conversation. As I sat there tearful, holding a cup of tea, because this was in England, so of course I was holding a cup of tea, she came past me and then did a double take and recognized me. Her face softened. "You too?" I nodded and tears began to flow. "Your first time?" I nodded again. "It's okay," she murmured to me. "You're safe here. Get your tea and come sit with me." Any of us who have arisen out of the darkness of being actively addicted know the rough work of finding a different way to live. Discovering our new selves, the excavation of our wounds and our worries, and the heartbreak and sadness that can be beyond words. And we know, I think, about the glimmers of hope that arise from chance meetings, the kind words, the strange grace of falling so far down that up becomes possible. And what I can tell you is that the darkness both enabled my out-of-control drinking and offered me my final pathway out. I believe in the both and. The darkness of my addiction was thick. I had always thought it was hidden, that others didn't see my excess. Denial, as they say, is not just a river in Egypt. The compulsion to take another drink and another drink and another drink could not be denied. I gave into it every day, hung over every morning, and lost in the evenings, which I mostly didn't remember the next day. The darkness of winter solstice, these days of pausing in deep, dark, long nights, is also a blessing. The darkness of this time of year invites the warmth of candles and fires in a fireplace. The dark is nourishing, a time for sleep and restoration. It is an embrace of being held. It is the hidden memory of the womb and the peace that comes with death. The healing dark, the delicious dark, dark like good chocolate, like black coffee, darkness as an enveloping hug. Wendell Berry reminds us to go into the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark too blooms and sings. And it is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. The solstices and the equinoxes to a lesser degree remind me every year. Solstice, the longest night and then the longest day, reminds me of how the earth turns, how it tilts and the cycles of life, birth and death intertwined, love and loss tied in an unbroken bond, the everlasting possibility, and I believe in it, the everlasting possibility of new life erupting where we don't expect it, and the soft sweetness of death when that time comes. And here we are, friends, in the midst of these short days and long nights, living with the deep dark for these few days before the earth tilts on its axis and the days grow longer. Let us, in these days of darkness, live into our wholeness with the both and of our existence, and loving the light and loving the dark, giving thanks for the gifts of both brokenness and recovery, cherishing it all as we best can. May it be a bright season for us all. Amen.
So you're not going to have the words for this one because they're simple. I'll say it out loud for you first. I'm going to 2 parts. I'm going to teach you, sing one and then teach it to you, and then we'll do the second part, and then we'll see if we can actually put them together because we got Doug and Pat sitting here and they can hold this side once we learn. Okay, so let's see. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. It's the first part. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. So let's try it. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. One more time. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. Second part. Stars shine bright in the darkness, in the light. Stars shine bright in the darkness, in the light. Stars shine bright in the darkness, in the light. Stars shine bright in the darkness, in the light. Back to the beginning. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. Stars shine bright in the darkness, in the light. Stars shine bright in the darkness, in the light. Stars shine bright in the darkness, in the light. Back to the beginning. You can weave the darkness in and turn it into something beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
I'm going to need you. Our closing words by Kendall Gibbons. There is finally only one thing required of us. That is to take life whole, the sunlight and the shadows together, to live the life that is given to us with courage and humor and truth. We have such a moment out of the vastness of time for all our wondering and loving. Therefore, let there be no half-heartedness. Rather, let the soul be ardent in its pain, in its yearning, in its praise. Then shall peace enfold our days. Not yet. And it's over here. It's that mom quarter the eye thing, right? That we all have. Then peace shall enfold our days and glory shall not fade from our lives. Join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
So this one's easy, just join in. When you let the light shine through your whole being, everything is light, everything is light, everything is light. And it's a zipper song, so the word light is going to change, just you'll follow me. When you let the light shine through your whole being, everything is light. Everything is light, everything is light. When you let the light shine through your whole being, everything is light, everything is light, everything is light. Your love. When you let your love shine through your whole being, everything is love, everything is love, everything is love. Your joy. When you let your joy shine through your whole being, everything is joy, everything is joy, everything is joy. Your hope. When you let your hope shine through your whole being, everything is hope, everything is hope, everything is hope. The light. When you let the light